Because of a question my mother asked me yesterday that her brother asked, because my grandmother's Yartzeit is the 9th of Adar, and the year when she passed away was not what we call an Iber Yor, a Shanas Muberes, what we call in English a Hebrew leap year. This year happens to be both a Christian leap year and a Jewish leap year. The Christian calendar is just one day added, and in the Jewish calendar it's a whole month added, which means the Muslim calendar loses a month compared to the Jewish calendar. Meaning Ramadan, I think last year was Nisan, and this year it'll be Adar, something like that. In any event, we have 2 months of Adar this year. And so the question is, when is the Yartzeit observed? So my uncle went to his rabbi and he said there's different opinions. You could do one or the other or both. And so my mother asked about it. And so let's look at what the Shulchan Aruch says. That's actually what between the Mechaber and the Ramah, that's what it says. So first we have, of course, first we have the Mechaber. We have Rabbi Yosef Karo, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, the author of the Code of Jewish Law. And he said, Shira Yom Shemeis Aviv Imai Ba'adar Ba'ashana Muberet Yisana Ba'adar Beis. So it seems like this would be the Ikar Din, that the Shulchan Aruch says that when the day when someone's father or mother passed away falls, the anniversary falls in Adar, and the month is a leap year, the year is a leap year, one should fast during the second Adar. We could look at the Torah and others to talk about this, but let's just look really, we'll try to keep the video short. So then the Ramah, which is Rabbi Moshe Isserlis from Krakow, basically the Ashkenazic opinion, Yesh Hagove Yesh Omrim Desana Rishon, and he said there are those, including the Maril and the Mintz, who say you should fast on the first Adar. Im lo shemeis b'shnas ha'ibor ba'adar sheni, unless it was a leap year, meaning it seems from the Mechaber, it's always the second Adar, and there is no such thing as a Yartzeit in the first Adar. From the plain reading of the Mechaber, even in a leap year. And the Ramah explains, well, meaning when the death was in a leap year and the Yartzeit is in a leap year. Obviously, if it's not a leap year, whatever it is, you keep the one. The only time that you would fast in the second Adar would be, and again, that's how the Yartzeit was observed in those days. Today it's not so common to fast on a Yartzeit. Some people still do it, but that was not as common. Actually, a lot of people will have a Yartzeit Suda, and then we talk about lighting the candles and saying Kaddish. All these things are not actually mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch, but fasting is mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch. But anyway, it says if the person passed away on a leap year, my grandmother did not pass away on a leap year. That would be when you would fast in the second Adar, is if the person passed away in a leap year, and the on the second Adar. That's the Torah's Kahanim. So the Ramah says that the minhag is to fast on the first Adar. But there are those who are strict to fast both the first and the second. That's the Piskei Mari in the name of Mari Mulin. So I looked at some of the Nosei Kalim. The Chassam Sofer seems to agree with the Mechaber that you should observe the second Adar. And there's a whole discussion of why is it Ein Ma'avir in all mitzvahs, or is it because of, or do we push off something that is and that would be the reason to do with the first Adar, that we don't push off a mitzvah, or this is something that's not a mitzvah, but it's rather a source of pain to fast, and so we would push it off. That's part of the discussion, but also the part of the discussion is which is the main Adar. Since we observe Purim in the second Adar, so it might make sense to make that the more important Adar, and that's part of the reasoning for the Mechaber. The Mishnah Berurah says that it's best to follow the strict opinion and to observe both Yartzeits, both in the first and the second. However, according to Mishnah Berurah, if you're only going to pick one, it would seem that Ashkenazim would pick the first one, and Sephardim would pick the second one. However, like we showed, the Chassam Sofer was certainly Ashkenazi. He was from Germany originally. Of course, had a big impact in Hungary, where even though where Pressburg now, I guess, is not. It's not Romania. It's another one of the countries over there. I remember what it was. Bratislava. It's the name of the city. I'm embarrassed. I don't remember it right now. In any event, and I'm not going to take time to go cheat and do it. It's a country right near there, and in any event. So the Chassam Sofer says the second one. The best thing I would say is, if you belong to a shul, you will ask the rabbi of the shul what is the custom here in the shul, and follow that custom there. Unless you have a clear custom from your family. But again, like we said, the Mishnah Berurah says that the minhag ha'olam is to keep both. Especially that nowadays most people are not fasting. It's just a question of lighting a candle and saying Kaddish. So with that being said, if one is able to, obviously if there's not a minyan that one is able to attend, so then you do what you can. The same question about saying Kel Malay, whatever, also doesn't hurt to do it in both. I know, of course, one of the big Yartzeits of Tzadikim that's observed in Adar is Chaf Aleph Adar, is the Yartzeit of the Rebbe Melech. And even though I understand that year it was a leap year, people don't know which one it was, is what I've heard. I remember hearing that when I was a kid. And so people observe both, or one or the other or both. And there are pilgrimages to Lezhensk on both the first and the second Adar. Obviously, I think the first Adar is a little bit easier to make a pilgrimage than the second, being closer to Pesach. But on the other hand, maybe people want to get away before Pesach, get out of town. So again, that's my best advice, is to Al Tifur Shmita Tzibor. If you belong to a particular synagogue and they have a particular custom, you follow whatever it is, first, second, or both. But like we said, the Mishnah Berurah says the minhag is to follow both, and I think that is advisable if possible. It's not that difficult to light a candle, and if, it depends if you're in a place where going to minyan is easy. Not where I live, you probably have to drive maybe just about Kadei Hilach Mil, if not more, to get to a minyan, and that's a question of also, can I get to the minyan within my work schedule? So I very rarely have the luxury of davening with a minyan. But when hopefully maybe somehow that'll change. Even Shabbos, where I live, unfortunately some people stole away half of our minyan, and our Rav Paskin that it's usher to daven in that minyan. Nobody else but me seems to be listening to him, but that's except the people I guess who don't daven at all. I don't know, but that's the situation we're in. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. All right, how do I turn this thing off?